Next what I'm going to do is take out this lower hinge. As you can see, there's one bolt missing, but there's 3 in there. The breaker bar can be your best friend. You'll need a flathead screwdriver too. There's nothing living in here, just a dead spider. Okay, we got 4 big bolts here, and you always want to use some kind of penetrating fluid like this. PB Blaster is really good. Okay, so I have the door on a table here, and as you can see, the top hinge, which has the spring, right now it's like as if the door was closed, because this would be parallel with the hinge post. It runs from here to here, that part of the bird cage. So in order to remove the spring when you have the door off the car, and I wanted to film this so you would see how this whole thing kind of connects to the spring, how the spring connects to the hinge. You can see it here. It starts here, goes around inside, and then it hooks back here. So for this, you are going to need just a regular hammer and this special tool, which is basically a long flathead screwdriver with a tiny little bend here, and this kind of like a 45-degree angle, about 2.5 inches from the tip. And these are not expensive. But anyway, with the door in this position, how this connects, you would have to tap the spring down because you want to clear this stop. You see how it went down all the way in here, and then this part kind of released. Now, of course, you have these little gears down here, which makes it kind of hard to maneuver. But with this thing, what you can do is, or any screwdriver, if you don't have this tool, you want to get it past these gears here. So what I do is I just push it like that, and then the spring basically falls out of there, and you can rotate it and slide it out. And this is how the spring, you see you have the short end with a notch, then you have this piece and the longer bend here. And to install it, you start from this end. You want to go in here, and there are 2 channels back here, and you want the spring to connect to the channels. See? And then you can tap it back into place, but of course, it still needs to come up. And that's all there is to it. Then it's secure in place. So it's a pretty cool system once you understand how this thing works. And then again, I just use this one to get it past these kind of like stops here. They act like stops when you open the door. They kind of ratchet back, so it holds the door in place. So what I want to do next is remove the pin so I can take the two halves of the hinge apart, and because I'm gonna clean it up, I'm gonna probably borrow a bead blaster and get it all looking nice. But to do this, you can do it with the hinge in the car. That is not a big deal. But what I did here, and I wanted to show you this in case you're in the same situation, you can do it on your workbench. And basically I put a couple of pieces of wood the same height, and I just want to give the pin a little bit of an opening so I can start driving this out. And I'm going to use, of course, a punch, and I don't know what this is, a 2 or 3 pound hammer. Not tight in there anymore, so I can probably get by using one of these screwdrivers. I just want to finish driving the thing out of there. Not the perfect tool for the job, but I think it'll work. So there you have it. Have a door hinge and its components. Won't be able to see much here. So as you can see, I have all the hinges. I give them a couple coats of this sandable primer. And actually, even though I didn't need to do this, I masked these little gears, whatever they are called. And so they should be fine. So next, what I got to do is install the bushings, and yes, so 2 and 4, and I can put these together just to have them as one piece. But and I also, as you can see, I primed the this little cover. This is the armrest, one of the little supports for the door. This is for the newer style door. And this is the backing plate for the window motor. Okay, so to install bushings, these are just brass, so it's a soft metal. Sometimes, depends on every car is different. Sometimes you can actually push them in. These are not being very cooperative here. There we go. That's all there is to it. And of course, thing is, you want to make sure that these are not going to interfere. There's always going to be a little bit of play there, but should be okay. So we'll get another one. And again, I'm going to press them in from the outside. A couple of taps if need be to get them started. Once they start going in, I mean, there's no issue getting these installed. Should be a little bit of play, but not much. Okay, so if these were to be used, they might be someday. They would have to be painted so everything kind of looks correct. Once you assemble these units, I mean, you don't want to take them apart really. You can if you needed to, but once they're done, all you have to do is install this one in the car, attach it to the A-pillar or hinge post, use the 4 bolts, and then you would slide the door in, and of course you would have the upper and lower hinges, and then you would slide the door into place and secure the door. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to drive the pin in, and this is not very hard to do, provided it's aligned properly. I don't know if you can see there, this pin has a little chamfer, so that helps guide this into the bushing. There it is. And as you can see here, this one has, can't think of the word, almost like some teeth here. And that really holds the pin in place. So what I have left to do is install the spring. I'm going to lube these little wheels a little bit, but it's nice and snug. Okay, so from this angle, this portion of the hinge is bolted to the hinge pillar. This one goes inside the door, and the door hangs from it. You have the upper and the lower. This is the upper hinge, which happens to have these little rollers here. And you can see how the spring is in relation to the rollers. And this is in the full open position. And of course, the hinge is secure there, so the door will not keep trying to close on you. Then when you go, let's say, midway, again, it is still partially open, but these rollers and the spring keep it in place. And then when you fully close the door, it would latch. And again, these things have no purpose then, because the door is latched and closed. So that's position 1 and 2. And this is the passenger side. So let me show you here on my car how that works. Okay, so the door is closed. We're going to open it. And you go fully open, and the door stays open. You can go about halfway, and it still stays open because, again, those rollers are keeping the spring they're acting with the spring to keep it in this second detent position, and then when the door is closed, there's no need for that. But the most important thing is when you open the door that it will not keep trying to close on you, and it'll hit you, and it's annoying. So that is the purpose of the spring. So this is it. And again, I think I showed you this one already. It's a long flathead screwdriver with a tiny little bend there, and this 45-degree, what is that, like a 2 to 3 inch bend here. But the way this connects in here, if I can do this one-handed, so you have the upper hinge here and you have the lower loop. So the only way to do this, I think, it would be to position the screwdriver in there. And as far as I know, that's the only way to hold on to the spring, and then you can start applying pressure to it. And while you say a prayer that the whole thing is just going to work. I guess at some point I may, emphasis on may, address this, but for the time being I don't want to mess with this one. This one is working fine, and let's hope that it continues to work fine. So, but I just wanted to show you how, you know, you have hardly any room in here to do much. So I suppose once you bend this, you could push it down. I don't know. Looks like a nightmare situation. But anyway, that is where the hinges are. And that's why I think it's a good idea to put them together beforehand, like this one, and then install both in the car and then hang the door. So anyway, I hope this video was somewhat helpful, and let me know in the comments if you have any tips on how to install the spring with the hinge in the car. I know that there's a few videos on the subject, but I don't know. Looks mighty complicated. Again, please leave me a comment. Share your thoughts on the hinges and all of that. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.